Hello, this is Saul again. I am on part 4 of this auto editing framework that I've been working on here. I'm trying to find, well, first of all, you can see off in the corner here, there is Wombat. He was a little upset that he was not involved, or he was here, but he wasn't on camera for yesterday's session. So I put him on camera here. Here he is. This is live. Say hi, Wombat. Yeah, hello. And anyway, I promised Wombat that if we worked today again and got this one thing done, that we could share a donut. And you can see that donut off in the background there. It's biscotti flavored, I think. Anyway, it looks super tasty, and so I'm excited to get something done so that I can do this. So, have that donut. So I was, give me a second here. I am trying to find the live stream page for this exact chat so that if anybody's chatting with me, I can actually see them talking with me. Get shareable link. There we go. Okay. So there's that. And here we go. Okay, so what are we doing today? So when we last left, we had just gotten some basic things working. I committed that stuff. So we got the timestamp for the transcript working and the ability to save off a transcript. Gosh, that did not work here.
Let's try it. Are we
Oh,
recording?
it is working. Okay.
We are. Okay.
So the only thing I did last night since our session here was to make the key for playing the current row be P instead of 1. I think I should probably make the pause also be P, so it's a toggle. So basically, instead of it being 2 commands, it'll be 1 command that's toggle play pause, because P is easy to remember than 2 different commands, even if they are 2 distinct things. So I can go ahead and implement that. That's a minor thing to start off today. The main thing that we're doing today, though, is adding a marker into the stream. And so the idea is that I'm listening along to this transcript, this podcast, and I hit the middle. Well, actually, anytime I hit a place and I want to cut this section, I want to say that here's a marker, here's the beginning of the section, probably the beginning and then the end later. And I'm going to want to be able to ultimately be cutting that section, but for the time being, I want to be able to say this is a marker at this point in time. And so we'll be saying cut between these 2 markers, or I don't know how this is going to work ultimately, but I need to have the markers be able to be placed. And since one of the features that we implemented here was combining text segments, so now we have alternating speakers here, I need to make it so we can split. Basically, if you add a marker in the middle of one of these sentences, that will be 2 different things. It'll say Saul for the first half and then Saul for the second half. And between the 2, there will be a marker saying that it is what the actual name marker is. Or even if it's not named, even if it's just splitting the text, that would be actually at least a start. So yeah, so the idea is that this will be the first step in modifying or editing the recording. So I think if that's all we do today is to add a marker at the current timestamp, that splits the row, I will feel pretty good. That's a fair amount of effort to do that. So anyway, here's where we are. Let me kill off a couple of tabs here. Expand my window. There are a couple of other things on the to-do list that I want to I will be winding up doing here. Some of them I may do offline. Some of them I may wind up doing a little bit of research to see how easy I can do them during one of these live stream sessions. One of the goals of this live stream setup here is to motivate myself. I've been having a hard time over the past 6 months or 5 years, or I don't know, pick your timeline, of actually producing code. Like, it's actually a lot of effort to get myself to sit down and code. And so I'm trying at the moment, this is my scheme, to limit myself to coding during live streaming. And I can do everything else, all the preparing, all the research, even some debugging off live stream. But actually typing in code, for the most part, I'm trying to keep it to these live streams. And I'm seeing if maybe limiting myself in that way actually kind of is motivating. I was like, all I have to do is this hour or two every day, and I'm getting something done, and recording it and talking to you all while I'm doing it. So anyway, Wombat, you ready to go? Let's do this thing. Let's have a donut. So I think that we're just going to start here by adding a. Okay, let's first of all, let's find a little segment here. Right. So in this very first line, even the first few words obviously are just I'm talking to the sound producer. And so in the middle of this first line, I want to put a cut. And so that's our first little test. I'm going to play this, press A some 4 seconds in, have it recognize that 4 seconds, or we're at the 4 second mark, find the marker, find the word at that point, split on that word, make another row, call it good. So, okay. Let's do this thing here. Let's add a very simple command to start with here to add a marker. I did change this to P, like I was saying. Add another one. I think it was the bottom here. So a new one. This command is going to be add marker. Now, the A command is typically bound to add row, which is a generic adding a blank row. We're going to be changing the semantics for this particular application to being adding a particular marker. May even ask the user, me, I guess, for some text to describe it. And we'll see how that works out. For the moment, though, we're just going to make it be adding, but not just adding a blank row, adding a split here. So let's see, add marker, and this is going to be, the thing is, we don't even have to know, actually it may not even be on the cursor row. We haven't decided yet whether the cursor row is synced to audio, and so it might just be at the current playhead. Another thing I did, by the way, I did do one thing last night, which was to add this help text to this previous command. I should be adding help text to all these commands as I go along. For some reason, it's not the thing that motivates me, so I'll try to add them a little bit. Otherwise, I may have to go back after the fact and add the help text here. But the idea here is that this is add marker at playhead splitting if necessary, but honestly, most of the time, I think it'll be splitting. So let's see here. We're going to add marker, and okay, so this is going to find, well, first of all, I have to get the current time, which is, I really need to make this be a separate query, playback time. I'm using it in two different places here. Yeah. So let's make there be playback time, and it can be a property. And I just want to turn it as a float. And here, same thing. Okay. And then in add marker, we're going to also get the playback time and figure out which row it is at the top level, and then which base row it's part of. Okay. So we're going to find the, let's see here, go playhead. This is the finding of the get row index. Yeah, I guess it is row index. Playtime, playback time, something like that. And there's the time, and there's the float. I'm pretty sporadic with my type hints, as you can see. But, you know, whenever it occurs to me, any type hinting is good, as long as it's not too cumbersome or too restrictive. I mean, it should be ultimately restrictive, I guess, in type theory, but I like to be a little bit looser and allow multiple different types sometimes. Okay, so getting the row index by the playtime, this is exactly this code we have here. And instead of setting it, we're going to return it. And then we're going to set it to get row index by playtime. And that's just for here. That seems fine. And then honestly, is it going to set it to 0 or is it going to throw or raise? I think for the moment we're going to actually let's raise. This is an error. I think. Yeah, okay. I think this is it. I think I want this to be I want this to be like this, and it'll just naturally become an error if this ever comes to pass. And I can see one case where it would, when it's literally between. No, actually it should, because this is the first one. So maybe it's when it's at the end or after the end of it, it might get there. But we'll see if it ever pops up. Okay, so now we're going to find the row index for this playtime, letting it throw if necessary, and we want to take that exact row and find the place in the middle. So honestly, I'm kind of wondering, it looks very similar to this row, get row index by playtime, in that I want to pass a list of rows, list of row-like things anyway, and have it figure out where it is in there. So we've got the current row, and then we're going to be looking at the row is rows index, that's fine. And what we want is the base rows. We're doing this exact same thing. It's like get row index by playtime, and this is the base index. I'm just going to wind up passing this row.base rows. And I kind of think this should be rows. If there's none, is this going to be rows or self.rows? Anya asks, will this ultimately have a column for if there's a marker or not? Oh, good question. Be a column for it? I don't know if it's exactly a separate column. It might be that I overload the speaker column to have, say, marker instead of, for instance, Sol or Mike, and the literal text of the marker is under Word. We are going to have to add a separate column for whether or not the individual segment is cut or live. So we are going to be adding other columns. We'll see if we need a separate column for the marker. It probably would be a good idea, to be honest. Maybe it's not just marker or not, maybe it's the type of marker, or I'm sorry, the type of row, and the type of row might be actual speech or marker, or who knows if we'll have other types. But we'll get there in very short order, just as we actually wind up creating a row. So let's see here. Right, passing in the rows, getting the index into base rows. And so now we're going to split based on that. So what we want to do is set the, well, we will wind up setting the rows equal to a slice of it. And this one here, the first half is going to have up until the base index. But we're going to do that later. And this new row that we're going to add here is this guy. rows will be, I guess we're just going to join them. Yeah, it's still an open question about whether the text in the higher level rows will be reflective of the base rows, like literally formed from them, or whether we're allowed to edit them separately. If we're allowed to edit them separately, then what I'm about to do here is going to break that. Any edits will be blown away by splitting. But I want to keep it simple for the moment, so we're just going to make this be the new base rows equals the slice from base index to the end, from base index. I think it's from that to the end. This might be actually, one of these feels like it needs a +1, but I'm not sure. We're gonna see how it shapes out. Because I think it's gonna get the first one after the time. Hey, we'll see. I'm not gonna stress about it right now. This is gonna be new base rows. Probably could combine those. The end is going to be the end of the row, but the new row, the previous row end, will be this base row. Base row is base index. And so this new row end is going to be the base row that end, because that's going to be where we are splitting at. Again, this might be the base row minus, this is going to be base row minus 1, actually, isn't it? Not sure. So maybe, I think this one's going to be minus 1, base index minus 1, and then the next one is going to be from the base index. And so this one actually won't be, well, this is the end here. And the start of this new one won't be the row start, of course, but the base row base index dot start. This is kind of a mouthful here. Let me spread this out. A little better. Probably should do that everywhere. Okay. So we have to add the row at the current place, new row with the index equals the index that we got before. Okay, so I believe what's going to happen, oh no, the work, this is the thing here. This one has to be, I have to join, I just add them specifically manually, don't I? I have to combine rows. Okay, well, we're going to have to do something similar here. I may wind up rewriting this whole thing, but we're going to just do a simple join of, I'm going to make a little fake function here called flatten, which is going to take the row dot, sorry, the new base rows, flatten x, let's say. And that's going to give us, well, it's going to give us a list of the words. Is that awkward? It might be. What I'm envisioning here is that I want to be able to traverse the base rows, the actual base words, no matter how many levels deep they go. So if I've got, you know, a tree kind of these sentence fragments that at the very bottom should be individual words, and as they scale up are, you know, fragments of sentences or whole whole dialogue pieces. And I'm thinking that I'm going to have a flatten rows, something like that, or maybe it's iter rows. I don't know how it is, but I'm going to wind up saying join the word for R in this flatten rows function that takes the actual literal rows and then dives deep into them. This is a common kind of function. I've done this a few times here. I'm just going to do it. I don't like the name flatten rows, but we're basically just going to, for on rows, yield from if base rows yield from our base rows, otherwise yield R. I think that's it. I don't like the name again, but we'll see if I can't do better here. It'll do all base rows rising maybe it's should be either it's base rows, it's giving the list of rows, or it's giving a single row. Probably, you know what, I'm just gonna do it with giving a list of rows. That's fine. That's a list of rows. Iterate through all base rows, comprising the set of bottom of all rows. Okay, so flatten rows is there. That's going to give us a list of words here. We also have to do a similar thing here. That word, the current row, the one we've changed out, equals this too, but for its new base rows. I wonder if this will work. There's a chance that this works. I kind of, in my own head, as I'm coding something, I need to get into, I have to have a feeling that there's a chance that it works. Otherwise, I'm just in like a complete hack mode, and I'm like, well, just act like an LLM and try things, and hopefully they work. And if they, well, hopefully they work. Does it work? No. Try something else. It's like kind of Edison with his. Actually, he was even more directed than that, trying to find the right filament. Anyway, I don't like the model of just hacking on something. Every once in a while, I get into it anyway, and it just doesn't feel good. Whether it's me doing it or an LLM doing it, it doesn't feel good. But when I built a mental model of what is supposed to happen, what should happen, and therefore I know there's a lot of holes in my mental model, but at least I have some concept of this might work. Now we can actually try it out. We'll launch that transcript again. We're going to, oh, that's right. It says connection refused because it's trying to get the timestamp before the thing is working. Maybe I should just take that exception off out of there. So I'm not bothered by it. For the moment, we're going to do that. I think there's a debug. We'll actually do that. Debug. And then I can do exception caught. That way, if I run vd-debug, it will do the thing it always does and bomb out on the first exception, but at least it'll show what's going wrong if I'm actually getting an exception somewhere like that. Okay, anyway, so let's try playing it, and I'm going to try pressing add in the middle of it.
Let's try it. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So, hello.
Okay, so that was an error. Dict has no attribute end. Okay, so now let's find out. So this is 160 here. I'll put on my numbers so people can follow along. And we're calling r.end get row indexed by playtime. So it's one of the base row. Sorry, I'm realizing that the flatten that I wrote is not correct. That's not the issue here, though. I think that I have to. I really would like to depend on the fact that this is an AttrDict. I don't think I can. Okay, well, we'll try that again. Let me look at flatten again here, flatten rows. think that this needs to be flatten yield from. Oh no, it's yield from flatten rows. Base rows. Okay. So Anya says it's because having an issue with the this attribute because it's not an AttrDict. That's correct. And so an AttrDict, the only purpose of an AttrDict in VisiData, well, it has a couple of purposes, but the main thing is so it can use dictionary properties, dictionary keys like attributes. So you can, instead of saying r bracket tick property name tick bracket, which is a mouthful or a handful to type, you just say r.end, which is cleaner and easier to do in all kinds of contexts. So that's one major thing that AttrDict offers. Otherwise, it's just a dictionary. And the issue here is that we start with dictionary and we convert it when we both expand it and when we create rows for things both in combination and when we load things. We're basically converting these dictionaries that started off in the JSON file as dicts and we're converting them to AttrDicts. That's fine when we save off the transcript and now the base rows has those. When we combine things, we're actually creating a base row of AttrDicts, or sorry, base rows of AttrDicts. That's all fine. But then when we save it, we're saving it off in JSON, and JSON is just going to save a dict. An AttrDict is a subclass of dict, so it's just going to save it as a dict, which is what JSON is expecting. And so when you read it back in, when you reload a saved file, they're no longer AttrDicts. And so we can actually fix this problem right now here by instead of doing this, we have to go all the way down into every base rows on these loaded words and make sure that every one of the elements in the base rows is an AttrDict, but not only one level, but every level. And so that's the thing I'm kind of balking at. It wouldn't be that hard, and I should just probably do it, and that would have erased a lot of these problems that we're having here. So it's a tension between, do I do the simple thing that I know is going to fix this immediate problem, or do I fix it at its core right now? And I'm not going to jump just yet, but I think if I get to the next, if I get too many of these and it's becoming too much of a pain, I'll have to buckle down and just fix it. So yes, otherwise this is just a dictionary and base rows, and let's see if this fixes that here. We're going to have to hear, unfortunately, this first few sentence bit here several times, so my apologies.
Let's try it. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So, hello. Welcome to Mag World.
Why did that not still give me the problem? Okay, we're having it in several places because I really do want to use the dot. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to convert all of these, so maybe I do actually just buckle down, convert as I go. I don't want to, but it's going to be simpler. Or at least if I want this behavior at all, then I should just embrace it. I do want this behavior, so let me buckle down and do it. Okay. So let's go back up here when we're actually loading. I think the only issue is during load. I think when we fix it and load, we will fix it everywhere. And so this is going to have to replace all of the, how am I going to do this? I want to set word base rows equal to the exact equivalent of the existing word base rows, except for every dict becomes an AttrDict. So, and going down into everyone's recursively descending into base rows. So this is like it's not the inverse of flatten rows, but it's a very similar kind of function where it's iterating through them. Is that really how it's going to be? We're going to have to iterate through So yeah, this is where I would put up a fake slide, which I actually should figure out how to do that on live streaming here too, and then get up and like just pace around for 10 minutes. That seems like a long time, but it's just getting my mind right on the nub of what I'm trying to do here. And so talking through it may not be the most effective strategy, but here I am, and so we'll try. So I want to say let's replace base rows. Honestly, maybe it's just, maybe it actually is replace base rows on this. It's actually AttrDictify. Wait a second. I thought that I had a, we're going to go into here. We're going to go into AttrDict. I thought that I had a thing where, oh, it only does one level. So if you get an attribute that is a dict, then it will convert it to an AttrDict, and that's great, but we're not. We're getting an attribute that's a list of dicts. Whew. So if I were really aggressive about fixing this thing, I would augment the AttrDict class here, which is in core utils VisiData. So I could, and that would be really kind of neat in core, and maybe I would like do that just to get rid of this problem once and for all. This is a classic challenge of coding, is that at what level should I be fixing this stuff? I want to fix it at the kernel level, or I want to fix it at the topmost application level, or somewhere in between. I think it's going to be difficult to fix it here in the AttrDict. I mean, I'm certainly tempted to, but I think that it's going to be more of a pain, or at least more risky to do it here. So we're going to stick with in here, and then I think that we're just going to make it be very simplistic. Replace base rows on Word with AttrDict. So we're going to replace rows, base rows rather. It's, again, not a good function name. Turn row into AttrDict along with recursively making its base rows also AttrDicts. Sure. Okay, so now we're going to say row is going to be an AttrDict. So we're going to do that. Okay, and then, but row equals AttrDict now row dot base rows oh, I see, it's just base rows. This is the recursive part of that. Okay, that might just be it. That wasn't too bad, if it works. And then I can also use the symbol. I shouldn't even need that though. Now later on here, I I can remove some code now that I've gotten this. The other places that I was either converting it to an AttrDict or using the base keys because I had to. I'm sorry, the dict keys because I had to. We can turn those off or remove those. But for now, this should work here, and then down here when we're doing the add marker, every time we use it should be fine. So let's find out if I'm right. And didn't work. Did I not return something? It's not. Base rows might be empty. I'll be happy about it. Okay. Play.
Let's try it. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So, hello.
And that's how it goes. Oh, shoot. I gotta actually play.
Let's try it. Are we recording?
R undefined. I should be able to find that one. That is not this being finished here. It's not r.speaker. It is the row speaker. Oh. Fine.
Let's try it. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So, hello. Welcome to.
Oh, okay. So it did cut out the top, and then it gave me an error on the bottom. So we're making progress. Oop. Fly in here. List index out of range. Oh, because I've actually already moved that. So that's, well, okay. Obviously, I can't do that there. I'm going to have to move that at the end. You know, we're just going to do everything. First, we're going to create the row, and then we're going to create we're going to fix up the old row.
Let's try it. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So, hello.
Huh. Okay, so that added the transcript row at the it's one off, and so we're going to add the row here. It's index +1. That's fine, but before it had cut off this, the current row was changed, and now it's not. So why isn't this doing what it was doing just a moment ago? So the idea was that it should be two different rows, one with the first half and one with the second half. And this seems like it should be making the base index. I'm missing here. I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's not. Oh. Because this word thing has to happen after this. Okay, so I have to do end first. Fix up. Fix old row with first part. And this is create new row with second part. Okay. Let's see if this works. So
let's try it. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So, hello. Welcome to Mag World, where we like to ask big questions, make wild guesstimates, and quantify literally everything on a magnitude scale. If you're new here, you should know that on a magnitude scale, every mag 1 means times 10. So
that worked, and I don't know, it's kind of addictive when something works, right? So I'm going to try it again just to get a feeling for how this feels to use. Well, I'll have to listen to it again, so I'm not going to bother doing this right now. But that's the essence of it. Now, okay, so what I want to do here is save this. I have to make sure that I can save it. Yes. Okay, well, I broke that. Self undefined. I'll call sheet, I guess. That's been broken for a moment. So we'll fix that, and I'll try this once more. Nope. So this happens now and again with the JSON decode error. That's going to bump this up in my queue here. That might be one of the most pressing things to fix. I'm not sure how to fix it, but I think it'll just go away. No. Oh, this is during loading. This is not, sorry, I thought this was a JSON over the Unix domain socket connection to MPV, which is, that's why I bumped it up the queue. It's not that. This is actually decoding the transcript, and so the transcript itself is now empty, right, because it saved it off. That's a problem. If there is an error saving it, it blows it away. Well, that's an issue, but not sure what to do about that guy. He actually opened it. I guess I could do that first. Regardless, I'm going to have to copy that over again. So that's why I did that. JSON to being script. Okay. So now we're going to do this GS, I think it was 3, combine selected. What's our combine thing? What do I use? I don't know if I do have a command in VisiData to combine things yet. It's like Shift F, but it's not. For now, we're just going to keep it combine selected. Oh. Did I me see it now. Yeah, that's huge. Why is that? Okay, so I broke something else here because unless it's combining everything into a... Oh. 2 speaker 1s here? Why? That's not right at all. Huh. I may have actually been only practicing on the 5-minute one. I think the transcript that I made for the... Oh, I think I know what happened. Okay, I think what happened is that I combined the 2 WAV files into one MP3 and then did the speaker diarization on the MP3 instead of the 2 WAV files, thinking that an MP3 with left and right channel having the 2 WAV files would be the same, and it doesn't. It is lost as to who the speakers are. So I'm going to have to go back and redo the whisper thing on the whole file with just wave, or figure out how to make whisper do the right thing that I'm thinking it's supposed to be doing, or could be doing, which now that I think about it, doesn't make sense. Why would it be using, thinking that one speaker is on the left channel and one speaker is on the right channel? Anyway, for the moment, we're going to do this cheapo thing here, get back to here, and GS3, now we're back in business. We're going to play.
Let's try it. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So, hello. Welcome to Mag World.
Pause it and Control S to save off the transcript. YOLO! Great. Let's see if transcript is here. It seems legit. And it's 20, it's only 8 minutes. Oh, it's 5 minutes. I don't know why it's going up to 8 minutes if it's 5 minutes, but I'm not going to stress that for a moment. I just got something wrong. Okay, so it looks like, to a first degree, we can do what I said, where we can, we're doing the split. Now we're doing the split, which is it's the hard part. Now we want to add an actual marker in between there. So let's do that just to complete this task, because Wombat and I are looking forward to getting a donut, having a donut, eating a donut. That looks super tasty, Wombat. Okay, so add marker, add row. But before we add the new row, we're going to add, and this is plus 2, we're going to add a marker row. And let's just leave this blank for now. And we're going to do what we said before. We're having the speaker be marker. And the start be the exact time. And the end be the exact time. Same exact time. And base rows be... Actually none is fine, but empty for the moment. Now, I probably will factor this into a function soonish, but for now we're gonna leave it alone. Once more with feeling.
Let's try it. Are we recording?
Oh,
we are. Okay.
Well,
so hello, welcome to Mag World.
No, let's do it for a different one here. So. Okay, let's do this one here.
That's the first rule of Mag World. Magnitude matters. And in fact, today's episode is Mag Matter.
Okay, so there we go. So there's the marker and that, and then I probably am, we'll see. I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting, like asking for text here right away, or if I'll tell myself to go back and edit the word field. This is a workflow issue, and I'm sure this is the thing that I'll be winding up thinking a lot about, like I was saying yesterday. But for the first degree, this looks like a winning thing. It splits, it adds a marker, you can save it. I think I'm going to call this good. Now, I do have a couple of other things on this exact item here, and so as long as I'm here, I know I want that donut too. Well, okay, let's make it worth our while here. We're just going to add a couple of very simple commands, which should not be that big of a deal. I'm going to make it so that the less than and greater than keys go to the previous or next marker, which is kind of a common audio editing thing, is skip to marker. And then I see the G less than and G greater than to first and last marker. Yeah, those are less important, but honestly, if I'm in the middle of editing, then I will want to, like, for instance, start at the end of where I last got to. And so the last marker will be the last edit, and then I'll just kind of come back in and then G greater than and get there and then start from there. And it might be either going there, setting the playhead, and not playing, or it will go there and set the playhead. We'll see what feels better. So let's do this. Let's add previous marker. This is go prev marker, I guess. Or go marker prev. And this is going to be going. Let's do a thing here. Excuse me. Move row cursor to previous marker. Now here's the issue. Is now the playhead, or I'm sorry, is the previous, is it in relation to the playhead or in relation to the current row cursor? And if we have them in sync, then they're the same and that problem goes away. Otherwise, I have to make a choice. And I think the VisiData model is more the row cursor. So you can be like having it playing somewhere, I don't know, you're just listening to it. I don't quite like it, but it's hanging out in the background. And then you can be bouncing around the entire transcript and then still thinking about things in terms of the row cursor. Maybe it's like a loose synchronization where it doesn't actively synchronize it. If you move the cursor, it doesn't change where you are in the audio. And if the audio moves to the next row, if you're on that row, it will move it to the next row. But if you're not, it doesn't like take the cursor out from under you. I think that seems like it would be a bad scene. But then everything else is kind of depending on or thinking that the current row is the playhead and can just act like that. And a lot of things, like there's a button, like we already have the go playhead thing, the GG, and there'll be either that or a different one that will sync it back up again. And so I think probably that's what we're going to go is for a light synchronization where, like I said, if it's synchronized, it'll stay synchronized. If you unsynchronize it, it's easy to get back to synchronized. But if you stay synchronized, then it's just the same and it'll feel legit. So, okay, move row cursor to previous marker, and we're going to do one for next here too. I don't like having multiple functions for this, but whatever. Go marker next. Markers. This is going to be from the current cursor. I've already got that in the help here. So I think it's going to be, and we have this in VisiData. So either I can look and see how VisiData has already implemented this, or I can implement it from scratch or memory. And I'm tempted to do it again fresh and then compare it with what I've done for, in this case, in other instances, like either the selection forward or the previous greater than thing to go to the next value. But I think it's just in the range. Let's see here. So yeah, start with current cursor row while I is less than the number of rows. We are going to, and now that I'm thinking about it, I think I do remember it was more of a function that got the row that matched a certain description forward or backward, and then the actual exec string sets the cursor row. So I think that might be what I wind up doing here. We'll see. So while it's before that, it advances it, it checks to see if it's a marker. Now hopefully there's not a speaker named marker, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. And so now we're going to set cursor row index equal to I and return. So I think rather than duplicate this, there's two parts here. One is the direction that we're going. And that's just this I plus equals 1. We can have a less than I. So if I ever hits less than 0, this is the direction. And and then the second part is the actual thing we're checking for, which is if it's the marker. And the third thing is where we start from, and the fourth thing is what we do at the end. But I think we can factor this out into something that gets it, that finds the next thing from the current direction. Oh, and then the other question is, do we want to wrap around? That's the functionality that I might reach into for VisiData from before and try to find out how I did that, just so I can either avoid those same mistakes or avoid the other things that that I've already fixed. I'm reaching into my own little knowledge base of how to write code. So for now, though, let's see if this works. Go marker next. Either case, this is -1, +1. Okay, let's see what happens. Did I say this already? I did. Cool. Didn't add a marker. Why did it save the marker? Oh. Okay, so either I did something wrong, or it didn't save the marker, which would be unfortunate. So now we're going to do this with the combining and try it once more with feeling. I'm going to change these guys again here. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and save this transcript off. And then now I can do play. Oh.
Let's try it. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So, hello. Welcome to Magworld.
Okay. Now if I save this. Now one thing I've noticed, by the way, is that there are 1,300 rows selected, but actually no of these rows are selected. So once we are, this is the combination, the combine thing here. We are replacing, we're removing a row. It should also remove it from the selected rows. And so I think we need to fix that. Maybe it's just calling remove row instead of rows.remove, but okay, I did save it. Let's see, hopefully this does save it, bring it back. It doesn't. Why doesn't it save the markers? Okay, something is going wrong here. It doesn't do much. So why is it? Wait. It did save it. Why did it didn't even save my changes at all? Did I not? Okay, I think I may have not actually done the thing.
Let's try it. Are we recording? We are. Okay. So, hello.
Okay, now I save transcript. Come on. Hopefully that doesn't make any sense why it wouldn't work. Okay, that was just user error. So I don't know, it does save it. I think I was just multiple times not saving it. And this is perhaps one of the issues with VisiData, that it doesn't do auto-saving. And it's kind of a classic way to think about it, way to do this kind of software. Way old school. Everything nowadays, of course, does autosave all the time and provides you with all kinds of safety, so that in case your program crashes or whatever, you don't lose work. It's not how VisiData works yet, or it works now and it hasn't ever, so it's part of the deal. Anyway, so that seems to work. I don't mind it. There's one issue that I note, which is that the starting time of the second line is the same as the ending time of the first line. So I think that I need to, but not the same as the marker, so I think I need to fix that. Oh, but I was gonna, while I'm here, I was gonna go to the next marker. Okay, is list looks out of range here. Right, okay. But why would that be out of range? Because it should be less than number of rows. Oh, it adds it first. Yeah, I know. Okay. It's on the last row. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that'll fix that. And then I was saying that the start time of the second one is the same as the start time of plus one. Plus one? No. It might be, am I right or wrong here? So it should be the end of the old row is the end of the let's dive in here and see if which one I'm wrong on. There's a chance that I'm wrong on the other one. So the end, wait, it's 413. Yeah, 4. Okay, 4.1. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. 4.3. Okay, and then I go here. Control Y. 413 versus 415. Oh, interesting. 413 versus 415. So that's legitimate. Then why is the marker at 4, 5? Because the hello must last longer than 400 milliseconds. Sure enough, it does. So if we press A at 4.5, so the marker says it is, which is a little interesting. I didn't think I was saying it. I pressed it in the middle of the hello. Maybe I did. That would be actually interesting to know exactly what the lag actually is here. And maybe I should be pressing or doing a status of the actual position in the word. Kind of like you wanted to cut in the middle of this word and kind of indicating exactly the timing of the cut, just so I can see how it plays out. I probably should do that. Let me add it to a note here. Status of cut word start versus. Basically, I kind of want to say is 55 milliseconds after start of hello, for instance. And then I can at least get a feeling for what the lag is like. Okay, so let's see. We've been at this for about an hour. And I'm wrapping this up. I think that we're within striking distance of it. I wanted to fix this one thing here, or at least look into it. Yeah, does that hello really last a second and change? Hello. Maybe it does. Huh. And maybe actually it includes some distance after the hello or before the hello that I'm not strictly aware of. This is where that status will also be helpful. Okay, so let's just call it good for the moment. Well, that's right. It feels the marker. I see the marker is put down exactly at the time I pressed it, whereas conceptually I split on the word start before it, and so maybe the marker should be not where I pressed it but on the word boundary. So that's the real thing here. I'm getting at this row start and this row end. It should be between the two of them. Could be T, could be this other. So this should be new row dot start plus row dot end over 2. So I think that'll fix this. Let's verify that. Okay, let's just do this.
I've taken physics in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because you get down to the atoms or the constituent parts of atoms.
Why? Oh no, that's legit. Yeah, looks about right. It's between the two things, and it's average in between. I don't know. I kind of prefer it to be T. Okay. Actual mark time or average? Oh, square in between split words. I'll keep them both in there for a moment. Okay, let's see, what else did I have? I want to move to the next marker, which I have here. Next marker, no marker, brilliant. Okay, let's add the big boys here. Go first, go last. This is where we're going to start from. Actually, they're all. Yeah. We're going to make there be a start thing here. This is going to be starting from the cursor. Cursor row index. And this will start from the beginning. And this will start from the end. Sounds good. Now we're going to make this the marker next. The starting cursor. Start prime. Okay, so then if I come back here, oh, I should have saved that off. Ah, doesn't matter actually. A marker, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go to the last one. Oh, last is not there. First one does work, no matter where I'm at. The last one does not work. So why does going to the last not work? Because I think it has to start from -1. Ah, I see. Maybe it is n rows then. Oh, I already fixed that. Yeah. I see. It's n rows plus didx. Eesh, -1. No. Minus didx? Is that right? This is, I'm in hack mode again here. Wow. So if you're going forward, yeah, you need to be -1. And if you're going backward, you want it to be +1 so you can get down to that. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's 0 or 1. Ugh. I think this is actually would be. Yeah. Ugh. didx if 0 if sorry, it's gonna be 1 0 if it's 0 if less than 0 and 1 if more than 0. We're subtracting from it. Gross. That still didn't work, so. Works in both cases, so.
Hydrogen, right. A hydrogen atom is generally a single proton.
Who's create marker?
We will be, yes, absolutely. That's 100% correct.
Interesting. So
this is actually working out for me here. This is not too bad. I mean, I'm looking forward to actually trying to do the editing with it, but. Okay, so if we go to the first marker, it's up here. And the last marker's down here. And we can go, actually if I had more markers I could skip between them, but I don't know. I think to a first degree this works. So I think that's good. I think we've got the playback. Oh, we don't have, okay, right. So we've got those. And I don't know, this is pretty good. I kind of, I'm torn. Part of me wants to keep going. This is the problem, right? When you get momentum, you want to keep going. And now I've got a couple other things I think would be pretty small to do. In particular, colorizing the marker rows would be fun and a very minor thing. But I would love to have a small break. So I think that I'm going to take a break. I'm going to commit this stuff. And I'm going to regroup and see what... And yeah, Wombat, I know. Okay, Wombat and I are going to go have a donut and see how the sugar affects me. But I'm going to do a little regrouping and think about some things and play with this a little bit. And then I may even come back today and do another little session and try to do some other cleanup tasks here. I'm colorizing the rows be easy. I can think about some other bits that I've been putting to the side here of the to-do column. Maybe the status of the position would be kind of a nice little quality of life feature. Maybe, yeah, actually, maybe I come up with a little bit of a list of small things to do. Just spend a little session doing some small things. Anyway, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for, I guess, watching me if you did. And I will see you in a bit. We'll keep on trucking along on this VisiData audio editor. See you next time.